Good evening. We're moving. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone attending today, welcome. And welcome to a world where building bridges is something we want. To establish relationships, foster understanding, and appreciate each other's differences. But it's a world where we can't get over thoughts that haunt, where we keep finding ourselves stuck in quicksand, too self-indulgent, putting up fronts, too afraid to admit that you've longed, to foster those connections. Instead you flaunt about making the world a better place online. Only difference is that words without action anywhere is a waste of time. And the resulting hope is the gravest of lawful crimes. Now, how many times do you need to see someone bullied, degraded, or not treated right before you realize that this totally undermines the duties that we have as human beings? To start reading between society's blurry and at times broken lines. See, I can tell you this, very few people need a shiny armored knight to come and save them. But what does it actually take before someone bites to want to be part of a change, speaks up and fights? Fights for everyone's voice to be heard. And instead of thinking that ridicule behavior is probably normal, I'm here to tell you that no, it is not normal. It is in no way okay, and it is truly absurd. But how can we build those bridges? How can we step up in moments like those if we don't even know how a broken society can be cured? Welcome to a world where discrimination and lack of respect are pervasive, people having more than two faces, and people from different genders and races, no matter what ages, feel lack of support and teamwork at their workspaces, perceived as a mere mascot of diversity. Welcome to the world where this is entrenched in our society. Good evening. Goedenavond. Assalamu alaikum. Buenas tardes. Bonsoir. My name is Saf Benaskar, 24 years old and a barrister. Not a barista, although I really appreciate those. They are the ones that got me through university with the uncountable amounts of coffee. But no, it means called to the bar. Called to the bar of England and Wales. And here are some facts. I'm young. I'm a woman with a hidden love for spoken word poetry. I'm part of an ethnic minority. We all know the following sentence, because if we weren't asked it, we were the ones who asked it. No, but really, where are you truly from? Around the corner. Last but not least, I'd like to believe that for my age, I'm pretty accomplished. Now mine is a story of perceived privilege. I say perceived because as a young female in nowadays world, accomplishment equals a seat at the table. Any table. And specifically those dominated by men. And it is something we must see as a privilege, isn't it? Now that privilege to me, I must say, came as a result of being knocked down multiple times, whether academically or professionally. And I will give an example of each of those situations. Now I subsequently got back up. See, at university, I was very blessed to get a bachelor's degree in international business in 1 year instead of 4. I was the president of a politics and debating society, class representative, and invited to join a legal team to an arbitration moot in Vienna as first business student ever. I was subsequently offered to study law, a master of law. Everything one in my position could dream of, right? Yet, what one doesn't know, and what I truly wish upon no student, is that I had teachers providing unnecessary and not asked for opinions. And remember, these are people whose feedback and opinions we count gravely on in our academic life. A 19-year-old girl, no bachelor of law, no legal background, nothing. How do you think you'll do that? And others saying, even if you do graduate, very few firms will want to hire you. You? What does that even mean? Anyway, when I went to make my decision known to the head of law school, I think he must have seen my doubt. The first thing he said, and I remember this vividly when I walked into the room, was, Saf, the fact that you're young and that you have no background in law does not prevent you from having a future in it. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't consider my position for a split second, maybe even 2 or 3 split seconds. But instead of believing this teacher and quitting, I did quite the opposite. I owe this man till the day of today for saying these 20 encouraging words and giving his opinion when it was needed, when it was necessary. And it was an opinion that was uplifting in a world where degrading opinions are up for grabs. See, I agreed to study law, or how my confrères would call it, I went to read law. Yet, this stuck with me. See, I was told I couldn't do this multiple times. Now think about the countless comments that we've gotten from people telling us, whether professionally, academically, or even personally, that, and these are real comments, we would never make it. It doesn't matter you're intelligent, you're just too young. I mean, who even decides what too young and in other cases too old is? But okay, in my case, I wouldn't understand the real big bad world due to my age. Fast forward to a year later, there she was, a 20-year-old girl with a Master of Laws. The comments evolved with the entering into the real world too. You should be aware of the daily struggle awaiting you. The struggle, the unprecedented fight that a young female would have to endure in this man's world. What they seem to forget is that that man's world, here it comes, would be nothing, absolutely nothing, without a woman or a girl. Thank you. I thank James Brown for his fantastic lyrics. They are what got me through. But more seriously, we must put a halt on seeing age, gender, nationality, background, anything as a reason to dismiss women. No, to dismiss people, to dismiss career progression, studying, or decisions that people want to make in their personal lives. I mean, I know people who had career breaks, maternity leave, and they went to work in other countries, and they are now considered too old to do something after the age of 35, people. Yet, they never gave up. They persisted. They didn't care about those unwanted opinions, and they became accountants, marketeers, lawyers when they were 42. Now, I know a woman who started a university degree in her late 40s to become a lawyer. She is a lawyer now. As a matter of fact, we were in the same class. See, age is, and here comes the cliche, nothing but a number. Age shouldn't stop us getting where we want in life, getting the help that we need, the support that we need in our lives. Now, comments are only comments, right? And these comments, more often than not, are opinions. Defined by Oxford's Lexico Dictionary as, and I quote, a view or a judgment formed about something not necessarily based on a fact or on knowledge. When I remember this definition, a quote from Aurelius comes to mind, the Stoic philosopher. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than we love other people, yet we care more for their opinion than for our own. See, the things said to me about being young, female, from an ethnic minority background, they were comments to me as well. Ask anyone I know, they will tell you I'm the least to care for unwanted feedback. I always fighted injustices like these that were happening around me without holding back. From paralegals I saw crying in bathrooms because someone commented on their outfit, to a senior associate being referred to as, well done, meisje, i.e. girl. Yet one day, I was caught up in that world. See, that meisje, that girl, she became me. A colleague and I were supposed to meet with a partner of another firm. This colleague is older, white, and male, which never bothered me until this very moment, where I could confirm that it doesn't matter that it's at the same table that you are seated. Comments made, orders given, they leave you feeling defeated when another man walks in, a colleague you trust does a 180-degree spin, asks you without a reason to stand up and leave your seat to the partner, your well-deserved seat. I did, wondering if my seat at the table was something I had to be grateful for. Be grateful in the first place, right? See as a treat. Because that is what we are taught. As a woman, we must be appreciative of a seat at the table. For that is what success is, right? After being treated like an underpaid and overworked intern, I couldn't believe some of the things that I was hearing. My colleague and an ally. For the first time in my life, ladies and gentlemen, I started to wonder whether this was because I wasn't wearing a suit and a tie. You know what? I still obeyed. Me, the girl that always stands up for everyone and fights injustices like these with every cell in her being. Me. I became that girl in the blink of an eye. I became that paralegal whom not too long before I saw cry. I became that associate and every other girl working in a predominantly male environment that ever had to deal with this and still denied that the fairy tale and believed that this wouldn't happen to her was a lie. But how could one know any of this? How could one know if all we ever do is judge? We judge based on looks, if not looks, gender, age, background, religion. How could one know if we don't bother to ask? If nowadays we bother to provide unfounded opinions, but we don't bother to ask how someone is doing or to care for someone's name. We choose to walk around in masks. We see the paralegal wiping away her tears in the bathroom, look at her through the mirror and think it was probably her choice of clothing. We hear the comments being made to the senior associate and we think, I'm not going to get into this. I mean, he's from an old stamp. Surely he calls every female meisje. It's nothing. The reality is, it's not okay. It is not okay. As a person that really cares about principles, and out of all possible examples, ladies and gentlemen, could have given you a lot. Unfortunately, I'm on a time limit. Out of all possible examples, I wanted to give you one that I feel shows a lack of the most important thing anywhere, not only in a work environment: respect. We are burning bridges that we as a society have been trying to build for centuries. But it's the same spot we stay. See, it's not okay. It's not okay for daughters, sisters, wives, and mothers to think that it's their fault, that they should have looked away or just take every comment or joke made with a pinch of salt. When in reality, it's those mindsets that fail us and we must halt. See, denial is the ultimate comfort zone. Denial that this was happening to me and not to me alone was my ultimate comfort zone. Until I decided it was not. See, this is not what I was taught. Not for me. I don't do comfort. I go the extra mile. I'll still do it with a smile. But I decided to stand up. That young and innocent girl from an ethnic minority background in the big bad world, which just seems, if she's bright and intelligent, ladies and gentlemen, she stood up. She finally figured it out. She made it. She was a grown-up. She got that well-deserved seat without the people that she was seated around the table with that day. So she decided that the last thing she wanted was to stay. She made it with continuing support from the ones that truly mattered. Family, close friends, of course her parents, the people that never ever left her feel shattered. And she, the girl that had to get out of that well-deserved chair, many others with her told how to speak or what to wear. We didn't study and work most of our lives to beware, to be part of a toxic work environment, any environment, with no respect. So she stood up without a care. See, she's here to tell you that, no, to urge you to do the same, to not feel ashamed and to never ever doubt your ability. She is here, I am here to tell you that if someone cannot even care to see how you treat another human being and to respect your capability, you should see those stupid opinions and comments as a liability. And never forget that this failure in mindset isn't your responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone attending today, welcome to a world where little did I know that in 2022, being a young female of a minority background makes you somehow différent, an outsider. Being different, however, should never be society's divider. Welcome to a world where, sure, we are diverse people, but it should be seen our biggest pride. Yet we as human beings, we seem to be in chase of things that require some kind of dedication, with egos going beyond and above. But truly, welcome in a world that's in grave lack of love. Welcome to a world where there's one thing